I mentioned this third property I wanted to talk about. It's this ref property VueJS exposes to us. That actually is something we haven't talked about yet. It is something you want to use careful, but which can't really do the thing you just were looking for. If in my HTML code I want to get the current content of this button, this show paragraph button, it's right now a bit hard for me to do. In vanilla JavaScript, which as a side note I can always mix in, I could select it with a query selector, let's say. In VueJS, I can access it very easily with the following syntax though. I can simply place the ref key on it. That is not an official HTML attribute. This is a key added by VueJS. Notice it doesn't have a colon at the beginning. It's not a directive. It's not using the vbind directive. It doesn't need to because it isn't a native HTML attribute anyways. So ref is kind of a key which is also recognized by VueJS on any element. You may place it on any element, any HTML element. And I can set it equal to any name I like. I name it my button, but again, this is a string you can choose. This is in the app1, so we may want to go into our app1 Vue instance here. Inside of this instance, as well as outside of it, I do have access to all my refs I register with this ref key. I can register as many as I want with the $refs property. So let's say here, when clicking this show button or when I execute this show function, I want to first console log this ref attribute so that we learn more about it, this ref property. So here I'll log this refs. And now I hit Control Enter, open up the console here, clear this. And let's click Show Paragraph here. We see the button. It was also printed before when we changed the title, when we called show from outside. This is clearly an object representing my button. It is not the native element though. It is a JavaScript object where I have a key which is named my button. This clearly is the name I chose for the reference up here. And the button itself now, well, this looks like a normal button element, and it is. This is a normal JavaScript or a normal HTML element used in JavaScript. Now, since this is the case, this means that on this refs, I can access all references I registered using the name I set up as a property, my button, like this, for example. Now, this also means that here I could say this $refs, my button, inner text equals test. If I hit Control Enter, this function will get executed in a few seconds anyways. You now see it was renamed to test, so I am able to access my HTML elements just like that. Now, what if I do this on an element which is already under control of VueJS, or the content of this element is under control of VueJS, because I'm outputting the content here with title, with this string interpolation. So if I name this heading here, for example, and I do update the title here through VueJS and the show method recognize this. So what if I, before this timeout here fires, in my normal JavaScript code, simply access this Vue instance, all my refs, as I just said, you can use $refs inside of the instance and outside as well. And then here I access heading. This is the name I chose for this h1 tag. I can then set inner text here to something else. And if I hit Control Enter, we see it is changed to something else here. Now, after 3 seconds, it's changed to Vue instance updated because the string interpolation up here still holds. This is not overwritten. Why is it not overwritten? That is something I will dive in deeper in one of the next videos. Generally, we have to keep in mind that VueJS takes this code it controls, this HTML code, and as I explained earlier in the course, it takes a template or it creates a template based on this HTML code. Now, if we access an element like we do here, we're changing this directly in the DOM, but we're not changing the template of VueJS. Therefore, whenever VueJS re-renders the DOM for us, it takes its old template, as it always does, and then re-renders the DOM based on this template, so it overrides our change we made here. And that is something very important to keep in mind. You are able to interact with HTML elements using the ref key and the $refs property here. But if you change something there, be aware that this is not reactive. This is not part of VueJS's instance. This is directly in the DOM, so your changes may be overwritten. That's really important. It may be convenient to use a reference though if you want to get some value, if you want to get the current value of something, if you need to access a native element, then this is for you and much easier than using the query selector. As with this method, you simply place ref on an element and there you go, access through the $refs property.